The Indian legal system is built on the pursuit of justice. It's a complex system with many procedures and laws. One such law is the Code of Criminal Procedure, or CrPC. Within this code lies Section 319, a powerful tool that allows courts to summon additional accused individuals even if they weren't initially charged. This provision ensures justice is served if crucial evidence surfaces during a trial. Section 319 is invoked when evidence suggests someone not initially charged might be involved. It highlights the court's commitment to uncovering the truth. Section 319 acts as a safety net, ensuring justice is an ongoing process. In a landmark ruling, the Indian Supreme Court reaffirmed the strength of Section 319 of the CrPC. The case involved a murder and the question of whether alibi evidence alone can quash a summoning order. The Supreme Court ruled that alibi evidence cannot solely dismiss a summoning order. This ruling impacts how criminal trials are conducted in India. It emphasizes that trials test evidence from both sides. Alibi claims are scrutinized and weighed against other evidence. The court upholds the trial court's authority to summon additional accused based on emerging evidence. This ruling ensures a thorough and unbiased trial process. It underlines that courts shouldn't prematurely dismiss potential leads or evidence, ensuring no stone is left unturned in the quest for truth and accountability. The case that led to this significant Supreme Court ruling involved the tragic murder of a man, allegedly by 4 individuals. The initial investigation and charge sheet focused on 2 individuals, while 2 others were exonerated due to what appeared to be strong alibi evidence. However, during the trial, 2 eyewitnesses, the victim's son and cousin, placed the 2 initially exonerated individuals at the crime scene. They provided detailed accounts of the incident, directly implicating these individuals in the murder. Based on these compelling eyewitness testimonies, the trial court, invoking its power under Section 319 of the CrPC, summoned the 2 previously exonerated individuals as accused in the case. This decision was challenged in the High Court, which sided with the accused, accepting their alibi defense and quashing the summons. The case eventually reached the Supreme Court, setting the stage for a crucial legal battle over the interpretation of Section 319 and the weight of alibi evidence at the summoning stage of a trial. The Supreme Court's decision in this case would have far-reaching implications for the Indian judicial system. The prosecution, representing the state, built their case on the strength of the eyewitness accounts. They argued that the victim's son and cousin, present at the crime scene, clearly identified the 2 individuals who were summoned later. This testimony, they contended, held significant weight and couldn't be dismissed lightly. The state emphasized that the trial court, after hearing these eyewitness accounts, was convinced enough of their potential involvement to warrant a summons. They argued that the High Court, by overturning this decision, overstepped its boundaries and undermined the trial court's authority to assess evidence as it emerges. Furthermore, the state argued that the alibi presented by the accused, while seemingly strong, needed to be tested and scrutinized under the rigors of a trial. Alibi, they emphasized, is a defense that needs to be proven, not merely presented, and the proper forum for this is during the trial itself. The state's stance was clear. Eyewitness testimonies, especially from those directly impacted by the crime, hold immense value in criminal cases. Dismissing such testimonies based on an untested alibi, they argued, would set a dangerous precedent, potentially jeopardizing the pursuit of justice in countless cases. Section 5. The defense retorts. Alibi as the primary argument. The defense, representing the 2 individuals summoned later, built their case around the alibi. They argued that their clients were demonstrably elsewhere at the time of the murder. They presented evidence they believed unquestionably proved their clients could not have been involved in the crime. The defense argued that the High Court's decision to quash the summons was correct. They contended that the alibi evidence was strong enough to cast doubt on the eyewitness accounts, which they argued could be unreliable or even fabricated. Furthermore, they argued that subjecting individuals to a lengthy and potentially damaging trial based solely on what they considered shaky eyewitness testimony was a miscarriage of justice. The defense emphasized the principle of innocent until proven guilty, arguing that their clients should not have to prove their innocence when strong evidence suggested they were not present at the crime scene. The defense's stance rested on the belief that their client's alibi was ironclad and that the High Court had acted justly in recognizing this. They urged the Supreme Court to uphold the High Court's decision, freeing their clients from what they considered baseless accusations. The Supreme Court, in its analysis, carefully considered the arguments presented by both the state and the defense. They delved into the intricacies of Section 319, its scope, and the stage at which alibi evidence should be considered definitive. The court acknowledged the importance of alibi as a defense mechanism. They agreed it could be a powerful tool to prove innocence, especially when corroborated with strong evidence. However, they emphasized that the stage at which the summoning order was issued was crucial in this case. The court stated that at the summoning stage, the court's role is not to definitively determine guilt or innocence. Instead, it's to examine whether there is sufficient evidence to warrant a trial. The court found that the eyewitness testimonies, in this case, did present enough compelling evidence to necessitate further investigation and a full-fledged trial. The Supreme Court, in its decision, overturned the High Court's ruling and reinstated the trial court summons. They asserted that the trial court was justified in using its power under Section 319, given the compelling nature of the eyewitness accounts. The Supreme Court's decision wasn't made in isolation. It drew heavily on past judgments and precedents that have shaped the understanding and application of Section 319. These past cases provided the legal framework upon which the court based its decision. One such case was 2019. This case clarified that for invoking Section 319, direct evidence from a witness during their initial testimony was sufficient. The court needn't wait for cross-examination to assess the potential involvement of individuals not initially charged. Another landmark case was 2017. This case established that the absence of an individual's name in the initial charge sheet didn't preclude them from being summoned later, if compelling evidence against them surfaced during the trial. These precedents, along with others, highlighted the evolving understanding of Section 319. They underscored the court's power to summon additional accused based on evidence that comes to light during the trial, even if it contradicts initial findings. The Supreme Court, by referring to these cases, demonstrated that its decision was consistent with established legal principles. The Supreme Court's ruling in this case sends a clear message about alibi as a defense. While crucial, it's not an automatic ticket to evade trial. Alibi evidence, like any other piece of evidence, needs to be scrutinized, challenged, and tested under the rigors of a trial. The court emphasized that presenting documents or statements claiming someone was elsewhere is not enough. These documents need to be verified, the statements corroborated. The court's role at the summoning stage isn't to definitively rule on the validity of an alibi, but to determine if there's enough evidence to warrant a trial where such claims can be thoroughly examined. This ruling is significant because it prevents the misuse of alibi as a tactic to delay or derail justice. It ensures that individuals cannot simply produce documents or statements claiming innocence without those claims being subjected to thorough scrutiny before a fair and impartial jury. The message is clear. Alibi is a defense to be proven, not merely claimed, and the appropriate forum for this is during a trial where both sides can present evidence and arguments, ensuring a just and equitable outcome. The Supreme Court's ruling in this case is more than just a judgment on a specific murder trial. It's a powerful reaffirmation of the principles of justice that underpin the Indian legal system. It highlights the delicate balance between individual rights and the collective pursuit of truth and accountability. The court, by upholding the trial court's authority to summon additional accused based on emerging evidence, underscores the importance of a thorough and unbiased trial. It emphasizes that the quest for justice should not be hampered by preliminary assessments or procedural technicalities. This decision serves as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is an ongoing process, one that demands a comprehensive examination of all facts and circumstances. It reinforces the principle that courts should not prematurely dismiss potential leads or evidence, ensuring that no stone is left unturned in the quest for truth. The Supreme Court's message is clear. The pursuit of justice is paramount, and the courts will utilize all tools at their disposal to ensure its rightful course.